So Apple right now is the most valued company in the world. And the recent earnings report blew away all expectations, making the stock price rally while others are being hammered by Bogdanov.
Don't beat.
If you guys watched my first Apple prediction video, we had a prediction of $354 billion in sales and close to $87 billion in net income for 2021. Well, as mentioned before, they crushed it. Officially, they finished the year off at $366 billion in sales and a net income of $95 billion in net income, which is just amazing. Hey guys, I'm Curious Pejjy, and I'm very curious. I'm curious to know that if I go all in on Apple today, will it make me rich tomorrow? You know, buying the mansions or the Lambos, and I bet you're wondering that too. If you should start a position now, buy more to your current position, or just sell the stock entirely and just buy some Tesla stock. I don't know. Overall, can Apple be a 5x from here? We're gonna find out today. Well, it's no doubt that Apple is a safe investment with guaranteed returns, and I got the proof to back it up. So let's get into the prediction. All I ask to return is a like and subscribing if you haven't already. Let's get down to it. By the way guys, I have a base case and a bull case only because that not enough experts are too bullish on Apple. They just see it more of a stable company, but I think they have other cool surprises on the way. That's why I have a bull case, and we'll get to that in a bit. First, we're gonna look at the base case. So as mentioned before on my previous video with the Tesla one, I did update the 2020 and 2021 with the shares outstanding and all that kind of stuff so we can have more of a solid stock price. But other than that, what you see here for 2020 and 2021 are solid facts. And as we can see here, 2020 was almost at 300 billion in sales, almost 64 billion in net income, while in 2021, they smashed it at almost 366 billion in total revenue with a 95 billion, almost 95 billion in income, which is just absolutely crazy. Stock price in 2020 was about 133 bucks. Stock price in 2021 is at 174, which it is at the moment right now, but it did reach that in 2021 too. Now, if you guys watched my first video on the Apple stock price prediction, by the way, guys, if you guys haven't, check it out. There's a lot of good information there. But if you guys haven't watched it, I went based on Simply Wall Street's prediction at a 4 or 5% rate, and they were pretty accurate almost. For 2021, they were actually almost pretty accurate. But they're saying from 2022 and onwards to 2024, they're gonna be stagnating and they're not gonna be making much money, and it's just gonna be a mature growth company. Likewise, looking at other analysts and experts, they say the same thing. They all say that Apple's revenue should be more stable, we shouldn't see any much spikes, and it should just be a very stable growing company at a 4 or 5, 6% on a yearly basis. And that's exactly what we're gonna say in the base case. We're gonna go see what these experts are saying. And if you guys watched the first video I made on Apple, I said every single year for total revenue and total net income, they're gonna grow at 5%, but I increased it both to 6% because I really think Apple can deliver. So in 2025, we get a total revenue of 462 billion with the net income being 120 billion. In my opinion, although this is the base case, I don't think they're gonna surprise us somehow. I don't think Apple's gonna sit back and just relax, but I think they're gonna surprise us. We'll talk about that in the bull case. From 2026, to be conservative, they're gonna grow at a 5% rate rather than a 6% rate. And that would give us a total revenue of 590 billion. And the same thing with net income, 5% up until 2030. And we get a total net income of 152.5 billion in net income, which is not bad, but again, I think they could do better. Now, the shares outstanding here is important here because if you have more shares outstanding, that'll reduce the stock price. But if you have less of shares outstanding, the stock price tends to be more stable at a higher rate. But Apple does a lot of buybacks, and as we can see in the chart, it's a lot of buybacks. And this is where I say that returning on your investment for Apple is guaranteed because they keep buying back shares of their own stock. So what I did was that from 2022 and onwards, they're gonna keep buying back 4% up until 2030, and we get up until 2030 11 billion in shares outstanding. That is, if they don't do any other stock splits, which I'm pretty sure they'll do a couple stock splits up until then. But until then, 11 billion shares outstanding, which is absolutely crazy, coming down from 16 billion to 11 billion. So that's crazy. So after we find the shares outstanding, the EPS will follow that as well, which give us a $13.50 in 2030. Now, when it came down to the price to earnings ratio, obviously this is not Tesla or Nvidia or Shopify that's gonna have a crazy PE. Apple is a stable and a growing company with reasonable stock price. So I said from 2022 all the way to 2030, it's going to be a straight out 30 PE. I think that's very fair and reasonable too, because if we look at the recent PE, they've been around the highs at 30 and 32-ish around there. I won't be surprised that if we see it at 40 to 45, if Apple shocks us, that's gonna be crazy. So once we put that into the formula, for 2022, we should get a stock price of 192, exceeding 3 trillion, obviously. I'm expecting this to happen mid-2022. In 2023, stock price should be 212 with a market cap of 3.2 trillion. 2024 should be 234 bucks per share. 2025 should be 260 260, almost 260 per share. 2026 should be $283 per share. 2027 should be exceeding 300 at 310, almost a market cap of 4 trillion. 2028 stock price will be 338 bucks per share, over 4 trillion in market cap, almost 4.2 trillion. 2029 should be 370 per share, almost 4.5 trillion, and 2030 should be over $400 per share at a market cap exceeding $4.5 trillion, which is very, very stable, but not much growth. See, I don't like that. I want to invest in something that has a lot of growth. So the first Apple stock price prediction I made is said by 2030, the stock price should be around 360 per share. But in this updated one, the base case is at 405. So it's definitely increasing. It's a good sign. Now, this is the base case, only based on the current products and scaling up that. Not based on any innovation, any new products coming out like the Apple Car, even though that's going to be tough for them by the time it comes out, because we all know Tesla's dominating. But anywho, that's still going to be an added revenue and profit for the company. Not sure how much, but it's a plus. I'm sure we're going to have a year, either this year or next year, that Tim Cook's going to come and say that, guys, check out this revolutionary product. And if the product is sick, cool, and changes the world for the better, like how they did back in 2009, 2010 with their iPad and iPhone, well, then we can see the stock price just jumping up big time. But we don't know that yet. We have to see what their plans are and stuff like that. The best thing I could find, again, was the Apple Car. But again, it's not that innovative. It's not that, because someone else is already doing it much better. So they have to come out with something absolutely like no one ever thought about. And I think we're gonna get that this year or next year, but we have to wait and see. Now, going to the bull case. So for the bull case, I went again and did more research, and it says that the company had recorded a 21% year-over-year increase in revenue before, with an expected increase of 12% year-over-year for earnings during each quarter. So this seems to be the bull case. Everyone is saying that, these experts are saying that 12% and 21% seems to be what they used to do year-over-year, quarter by quarter. So let's go ahead and do that. Instead of 21%, I said 20% just to keep things more conservative. And for net income or net earnings, we're going to say 12%. We're going to drag that out to 2025, and we get almost 759 billion in total revenue, and with the net income being 149 billion in 2025. Now remember, in the base case, this was what it was in 2030. And honestly, I feel like this is more correct, but we have to wait and see. And then from 2026 and onwards, I reduced it down from 20% revenue to 12% revenue, because they always have to be matured. And that gives us a total revenue of over 1.3 trillion in total revenue. And for net income or net earnings, I reduced from 12% to 8%, because again, they gotta mature. And this will give us a net income of almost $219 billion, which is honestly, that's not bad. Obviously, shares outstanding is the same. EPS will follow that, which is crazy, almost 20 bucks per earnings per share. And with the PE, gonna keep it at 30 because I think it's reasonable. Maybe by end of this decade, it'll be in the 25s, who knows, but I'm just gonna keep it 30. And this is the stock price that we get in the bull case. In 2022, or this year, stock price should be averaging around $203 per share, with the market cap almost being at $3.2 trillion. 2023 should be $237 per share. 2024 should be $276, almost reaching a $4 trillion market cap. In 2025, the stock price should be $322, with the market cap being $4.5 trillion, which is honestly okay, sounds reasonable. 2026, the stock price should be $363. 2027, $408 per share, with a market cap exceeding $5 trillion. 2028, stock price should be almost $460, with a market cap over $5.5 trillion. 2029, stock price should be $516, with a market cap exceeding $6 trillion. And 2030, the stock price should be $581, with the market cap being almost over actually $6.5 trillion, which is not bad at all. Now again, this is the bull case. This is including that we don't have any supply chain issues anymore. This is also including some new products coming into play, maybe some new updates, maybe iPhone 14, 15, 16, whatever it is. But this does not include the Apple Car. This also does not include other new innovations. That is going to be something else. That's going to, change everything. And once that happens, once we can get some numbers, we can definitely come back and do an update. So looking at the bull case, it doesn't seem like you can 5x your money in 5 years unless they do something revolutionary. But if they don't do that and they continue the way it is, well, obviously that's not a good thing. But because it's Apple and they're huge and they're Apple, you can easily 2 to 3x your money within this decade. Easy. Now again, this prediction is based on current product revenue. Personally for me, Apple isn't very much of an exciting company for me. And that's because they're not making anything interesting anymore. They're just scaling up what they have and they're selling it and they're doing a pretty darn good job. But with a company this magnitude and this big, they should be constantly making things. If they're not disrupting themselves, then maybe in 5 years, 10 years time, someone else will come and disrupt them. Look at the whole car industry, what has happened. You know, Tesla, for example, 10 years ago when they first started, no one cared about electric cars. 5 years ago, no one cared about electric cars. It wasn't until 2019 where the whole industry was like, oh shoot, this is where demand is going. And Tesla was already years ahead of them. If the other car manufacturers started electric vehicles literally 5 years ago, heck, even 3 years ago, Tesla would have had a harder time. But because now they didn't and they just stick with what works and they just kept it safe, Tesla is now going to lead them, and maybe some of them can go bankrupt within the next 2 to 3 years. It's really scary when you think about it like that. And when it comes down to Apple, they should be disrupting themselves. Now, it could be a software, it could be a new product, something that's revolutionary that another competitor cannot come and just take away from them. Like imagine this, you're Toyota, you have the whole world to your hands in just selling cars. All of a sudden, Tesla comes and takes your market share out of nowhere. It's like kind of like Randy Orton coming out of nowhere and giving you that RKO. You know what I mean? So like, it's very, very depressing to see, and it's honestly is well deserved if you don't disrupt yourself. A great example of this is what Tesla's doing right now. Again, I keep bringing up Tesla. That's because they're doing amazing. They're just an amazing company right now. They are doing startups in startups. For example, the electric vehicles, yes, they're doing it. They're scaling it up. They're making gigafactories. They're going to blow the whole world up in EVs. But they're also working on full self-driving. That's a whole revenue on itself. And recently, Elon Musk said that they're going to be working on Tesla Bot. Now, that's a startup in a current company. Now, that's going to be something that if they work on it now, in 10 years' time, if that blows up, they're going to be like rocking the world, man. I'm telling you, once that thing blows up, it's just going to go to the moon. They're doing a startup in a current company, and Apple needs to do the same thing if they want to continue with their market cap and grow at a rapid pace. Yes, Apple's coming out with the Apple car, but again, it's nothing revolutionary. That's already been done by Tesla. They should be able to come up with a product that no one is working on and can just disrupt themselves. And maybe instead of using iPhones in the next, 3, 4, 5 years, we can be using something even more, something more easier to use rather than just, having a screen. That'll be something cool, right? However, if Apple decides not to do any of those things, not be innovative and be revolutionary, and decides to put their feet on the table, kick it, and just relax, we can see the company just stable, be mature for some time, and then sales will start to decline. It's just how the company cycles go. So you do have to always keep moving up. You do have to always keep disrupting yourself. It's the only way to growing in this world. But as mentioned before, again, I think they're spicing something up. They're cooking something back in the kitchen. I think we're going to get a cool announcement in 2022, 2023, 2024. Either they're buying a company out. But again, I think that's only a short-term thing that's going to drive the price up just for a little bit. I think they have to come up with a product or an idea or something that can be revolutionary. That's the only way that this company can probably go in the 10 to 20 trillion dollar market cap. That's all. But again, as mentioned before, time and time again, I think Apple is going to surprise us with some new invention or some revolutionary product coming in this year, next year, the year after. That's going to change everything. But let's see. I doubt that Tim Cook is just going to sit back and let the company do the work. Yes, he's not Steve Jobs, but he wants the company to grow, and I'm pretty sure they're working on something spicy. Now, the thing is, Apple is a cash cow. They have a whole bunch of cash. They do a lot of buybacks, which, yes, it does guaranteed return, but I prefer that they can use this buyback. They can use the money they use to buy back to invest, to do something no one ever thought of. This will increase the stock price over time even higher, and overall I think it has a better long-term appreciation than it does with buybacks or even with dividends. I mean, they pay 0.5% of dividends. Why just pay 0.5%? Just remove the dividends and just reinvest it back into the company, man. But it's an Apple. They have too much cash problem, I guess. The good way, good cash problem. Now, the base case and a little bit of the bull case was based on the current revenues, their current products. Nothing to do with anything else coming in. So, wrapping up. 5x from here, based on the bull case. If they continue the way they are, that's not gonna happen. Am I going all in? Unfortunately, on Apple, I am not. But I do own index funds that are heavily invested in Apple. So you can say indirectly, I am going all in, but I'm not all in, but I have some shares in it, you can say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys found value. If you guys did, do me a favor and smash that like button. It'll help me out and help out the channel big time. And if you guys did enjoy this video, check out these other stock predictions. You guys will definitely enjoy the video. Check out this updated Tesla stock video, man. This one everyone loved. So you will enjoy this one too. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, and I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.